All right, everybody, welcome back to the mech shop. Let's get a little bit of extra light. Here we go. There, that's good. Thanks so much for joining me today. We are trying to hammer through as many of these Warhammer Quest Cursed City builds as we can before the lady boss gets home and makes me do something else with my time. All right, Emelda Braskov. I knew an Emelda in high school, but I think she spelled it with an I. Captain Emelda Braskov. Looks like we've got 4 pieces here. These new slotted bases, I'm actually a big fan of them because they slot right in. You don't have to worry about gluing them. This is the one part that does work really well. A lot of these joins, though, are not that great. So, like an idiot, I thought, oh, I'll just try to dry fit everything together, just like how it's shown. If Games Workshop says I can do it, then I bet I could do it. Hey, Games Workshop, you still need plastic glue. You still need it because I tried to put the head onto the torso, and as I held the head in place and tried to put the back on and arrange it in the correct angle, I don't know how you guys work, but I'm leaning against my table, but I'm not fully over my table, if you know what I mean. I'm kind of at the edge of my table, so if something slips out of my fingertips, more often than not, it goes on the floor. And if it's something small and round that has a tendency to bounce, then more often than not, it will fly away and get lost somewhere. And that's what happened to me twice. Twice I tried to... Can you guys hear that? See, so first it was the motorcycle brigade, and now somebody pretty close to me, it seems like, is mowing their lawn. Hey, let me know in the comments if you can hear that. If it's too distracting, then we'll cut the whole experiment and we'll try it again another day. But like I said, the goal today, get through everything as soon as possible, and we're going one by one. Try to finish it in less than 10 minutes. If that's not possible, then we'll go a little bit longer. But here we go. Captain Emelda Braskov, you need glue. We're gonna get started by putting the head on. It was considerate of them. The thing that I do like about this piece is that you have a little bit of a nub. No, now that we don't need this, let's focus on my hands. You need a little bit of a nub in there to catch onto the hole in the head, or in the neck part rather. So that is good. Games Workshop, good job for doing that. The tricky thing, like I said, is even if you find that hole and you slide it into place at the correct angle, while you're holding this, and you have to, this finger has to come off of it at some point to get the back piece on. And that's when trouble can happen, and the head, the last time I did it, the head fell down and rolled away on the ground. And man, can you imagine if my dog found that? My dog found this and I have to dig through its poop to find a little head like this. Man, I would just have given her, kid bashed another head and said, oh yeah, I was converting my models. All right, let's build this lady up. Like always, at least until I am able to order some new plastic glue, I'm gonna be using Games Workshop Citadel plastic glue. Not my first choice, but that's all right. It will do the job. Oops, sorry. Take my glasses off. And let's get going. Just a little bit in there. Griffin Lady, let's go! Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I work at the edge of my table. So the minute something falls, slips through my fingers and falls on the ground, it will roll and get lost, especially if it's something small and circular like this shape. The shape of this head. It will just roll away, never be seen again. So that part, this is only the really difficult part. I tried to dry fit all of this earlier. That was the only part that I didn't have very good time with. The rest of this, these slots are pretty intuitive. They're well placed. So it's just you can't sell a game on the building struggles on the gimmick that everything fits together perfectly. You know, I'm trying to build this looking through the lens. There we go. Get that griffin on. Everything slides pretty nicely. It's just getting it into the right place and holding it there so that when you take the pressure off, the parts don't slide away. That's the part that's non-optimal. Oh, did I not get this little bit? Ah! Yeah, it looks like that's something I might need to get in with a finer blade than this to really clean out, but I can scrape it out of the way now so it's not making us feel bad. These Slaughter bases, I'm really pleased with them. I really like how they fit in because they're hexagons, so it's a good shape. It's not like when I used to drill through my bases and I used to pin my heavier models. Cheaper Tamiya glue. Okay, Brady. Yeah, I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna see if I can find some. I used to put brass rod into the bottom of my metal models. Some of you old school hobbyists out there remember this. You would drill into the foot of your metal model. You'd slide some brass rod in it. You'd clip off a little bit so that a little nub is at the end. Then you drill a tiny hole in your base and you'd slot it in. This seems to be the much more intuitive way of doing it now in this new day and age. It's a hexagon, so like literally I could just leave it like that and not have to worry. That model is going to be good. It's not going to slide around. Like if it was a brass rod and I had just drilled it into the bottom. Hey Ninja, welcome to the stream. If the glue came apart, you could spin the model around, especially if it's metal, right? There's going to be a lot of weight to it. So having it, yeah, back in the metal days, it was not fun to pin models together. Just to pin metal models together at all. It was not fun to do. So I'm just going to pop open. Sorry, I'm going to do this off camera just for half a second. I just slid the model up so I could get some plastic glue in there. I'm going to push it back down. And there. This model is so much easier to build. There's only 4 pieces. This Jelson Derek model. Jelson. I just noticed his name is spelled like Jelson the Rock. If you smell. I added some AK texture to his base. That's going to come up real nice. But yeah, this guy came in 4 pieces, 4 quarters on a horizontal plane. And so that was not fun to put together, hold it in place. This one is much more intuitive. Front half, back half, the head goes in between the halves, and then you got the arms with the sword in the front. There's 2 anchor points for both of the big pieces, and so it makes it really easy to build. This is kind of hard to do with my phone in front of me. Stand over. All right, here we go. Let's get the arms on. Where is that front? Then the left. It just slides. You just push it back. Boom, slide it into place. There, not bad. Much easier. So much easier than Jelson the Rock. If you smell. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to add a little bit of this AK texture, rough texture to the bottom. So much better than the Games Workshop technical base paints. That stuff dries almost like a week after I open them. Astro Granite, Sterling Mud. I just can't seem to get those pots to last. This was, how much, 10 bucks maybe? I don't remember how much I bought it for. Might have been 20, but there's so much. And I just used a little bit right off the top there for old Jelson. And I'm gonna do the same with Bird Lady here. Witch Hunter the Rock. I'm going to let her dry a little bit more, just so I don't get anything messed up too much under that piece of masonry. I guess it would be okay. What I use for this is just my modeling tool. I think Games Workshop came out with a The Rock's new movie, Warhammer Quest. You could use the Games Workshop. They have like some kind of tool. I know, yeah, Vallejo makes some really great texture paint. My modeling store has a new AK display completely set up in the front area, and it has so many different scenery diorama products like moss and water. I found this one. I think it really matches what what I like to do with my bases now, which is to not have like little pebbles across the whole thing, just a little bit of texture to bump up the surface, and then you can. It looks like this is going to dry this color, and then you can just paint on top of it. That's all I want. A little bit of bumpiness to the base to hide a little bit of that masonry. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to slap on some texture. You don't need to see this if you're only here for how to build our bird lady. What is this gap? This gap seems to be... That might be something I need to fill in with green stuff. Have any of you with Warhammer Quest Cursed City noticed this when you built up your Emelda? This black slick is actually from my hobby knife when I was cleaning the mold line. I have a little bit of paint that had crusted on the tip there. Plastic shavings, then texture over. Oh, that's a good point. I never thought of that. Thanks, Brady. That's a great tip to add some really randomized extra bumpiness to your textures. Okay, I'm really liking this Amazon light I got for, I think it was like 10 bucks, or it might have been even cheaper. It might have only been like $5 or $6. Like, it makes everything so much brighter. All right, everybody, thanks so much for watching. We're going to, like I said, texture her up, and then who's next? The elf lady, Kulathis the Exile. Oh man, she looks like she's gonna be a handful. All right, we're gonna get on to her in just a second. Hang out, everybody. Go grab yourself something to drink and pop into the next live stream, which should be going up in about 5 minutes. Latest, players.